We're live. Yeah, terrible timing, Debbie. Right before it's like counting down to go live, and Debbie's like, "I need to clean my glasses." I'm like, "Okay." Remember when a second ago when I was like, "Are you ready to go live?" and you said, "Yeah." That's contrary.
Well, I just happened to look, and one side of my glasses is foggy, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
Another fantastic opening for us here at MCU Mondays. It's Monday night, and it's not a holiday, so here we are. We took Halloween off, because there wasn't anything too crazy to talk about. There had been no new shows, no new movies that come out. And just because it was Halloween, wanted to go enjoy that. So we're now back today. I'm your host, Chris, joined as always by my co-host, Debbie. Did you have a good Halloween, Debbie?
I don't do anything on Halloween.
So, yes.
I just watch TV like I normally do because I'm a hermit. So,
well, yeah, that's all. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it anytime you can. Chris wanted candy. I love candy. Yeah, that's why I kept always getting in those strangers' vans. As long as they actually had the candy. Okay, so today we're talking about all different kinds of stuff. We're getting ready for Wakanda Forever. That's coming out. We'll be talking about that next week because it's coming out. I think the earliest you can see it is this Thursday. Unless, of course, you're a critic and you get to see an early screening. And so far, the critic score is like 100%, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I've only heard, and this is on TikTok, I've only heard one person who said it wasn't up to par to the original, which I kind of find that hard to believe, and he really got trolled for that comment, so I don't know. Everybody else has been pretty positive about it, so.
Okay. Well, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't actually have the critic reviews yet, but...
What? It's been out for a while.
So far it's at 0 reviews. I'm looking at it right now. Let's see if I can share the screen.
I mean, it premiered, what, last week?
No. Wakanda Forever comes out this Thursday.
No, but it premiered, red carpet premieres.
Oh.
That was last week, so. Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes doesn't have, let's see.
Maybe they weren't invited.
Let's just try Google Wakanda Forever reviews. Let's see what we get. Review embargo lifts tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll have our first. Yes.
Well, I've been seeing, like I said, on TikTok, I've been seeing a lot of positive reviews. I mean, the creators couldn't really say too much, but yeah, they were all positive except for the one guy. So.
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. It says, this person said, Wakanda Forever is outstanding. It handles loss, grief, and revenge with a maturity and seriousness rarely seen in the MCU. And that was tweeted by film critic Orlando Maldonado. Black Panther continues to be their crown jewel. And then he mentioned some of the actors, says it's the best acting he's seen all year. CNET's Sean Keane called the film a triumph. It cleverly balances grief and hope with plenty of visually delightful moments. More like this, Marvel, please. It's as epic as they get. Yeah, so I'm seeing here a lot of positive, but the early reviews, especially for Marvel stuff, usually are very positive. So it's definitely always great to actually go and see for yourself. And Geek Gauntlet podcast, that's a good point. I wonder what you have to do to be a critic. Give favorable reviews. We know that's not true because there are other things that get reviewed badly. And it's such an interesting case. So, actually, let's pull up Rotten Tomatoes again because this is an interesting subject to talk about. Since we can talk about whatever we want this episode, there's nothing happening until Wakanda Forever. So, let's go Rotten Tomatoes. Let's look at Black Adam, and then let's compare Black Adam with She-Hulk. That was the latest thing from Marvel. Okay, so I spelled it. Yeah, 40%. So look at that. Look at that differential there. 40% negative from the critics. Audiences, though, seem to really have enjoyed it. Okay, and let's see. And people talk about, let's see. And that one, it's about the same difference. What'd they say? Okay, so they said 40 and 90, basically. And that's like 35 and 85. Those are wildly different. And so what is it? Are these critics like that different from the general audience? Why is there such a disparity here? And then how come there are other movies that have like just universal praise? I think those ones we can generally assume, yeah, everyone actually liked it. Like Endgame, let's say, or Infinity War. What do you think about these? That difference there, Debbie?
I normally don't pay attention to critics. I mean, half the time the stuff they like, I hate anyways. And the stuff that they hate, I like. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's, they get in, I don't know. Sometimes I think critics really overanalyze movies. I go to be entertained. You know, if it makes me laugh or cry, you know, depending on what the movie is.
And there are different levels you can look at things. Like, I go to just be entertained as well. But if your movie fails to do that because I'm noticing plot holes or discrepancies, well, then you didn't do it well. You know, like, and that takes me out of it. So I like a movie where, you know, things are handled, you know, it's not shot full of plot holes. Poll how many of the She-Hulk's critics were female. Average tomato meter, I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, that's actually a decent point, Geek Gauntlet podcast, because like right just here on the show, I didn't really like it. Debbie did like it, so
I just thought it was funny and how it trolled. It trolled certain fan people.
I wish I had the clip, and I should have had it, but not a great plan. Iron Man saying that to Loki. Not a great plan. Yeah, troll your audience. Well, here's the thing with that. What's the number one rule when it comes to trolls? Do you know?
I usually ignore them, but no.
Yeah, that's correct. It's don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Simply by acknowledging trolls, you fed into it. And that's why I've seen more memes about She-Hulk than like anything else. You did not show the trolls. You gave them tons and tons of ammunition. And you also alienated casual viewers who were just looking for another Marvel experience. Not all of them, but that is a group. And you kind of tended to lump them in all together with the bad guys. And then the way they ended the show is just terrible, let's be honest. The whole plot didn't matter because we did bad writing because it's a joke. Haha, we showed you. Yeah, you showed us, She-Hulk writers. You showed, I don't know why we're even talking about the show again. I guess because I brought it up. But it is crazy. And I haven't seen Black Adam yet. We got Geek Gauntlet said it was great. Or said it was good. End credits. I've heard things. And I want to go see Black Adam. I probably will go see Black Adam, but now I have to go see Wakanda Forever, which will be interesting because they made Daredevil look like a sim.
I disagree with that.
I didn't have as much problem with Daredevil.
Daredevil was hot as ever.
Yeah, and he got to get it on with She-Hulk, and
yeah,
and he had a morning stride of pride. Because he was not ashamed. He had his shoes on. He's enjoying this. He's enjoying the stroll. He's greeting people. Hello. And that sort of thing, I didn't have nearly as much problem with as just the writing cop out and the CGI cop out. And the whole cop out is, aha, that was the joke. Is that the CGI is bad? It's like, that's not a joke though. That's, you just did something bad, and you think pointing it out counts as humor. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough. It's enough She-Hulk. We've talked about. We don't need any more of that. Black Adam. Yeah, well, that's from DC. It looks pretty good. Gonna have to go check that out. Maybe we'll have a little discussion about that at some point. But since this is the MCU Mondays, we'll stick to the MCU. And so then Avengers Infinity War, there's no difference. It's very similar anyway. Critics enjoyed it, audience enjoyed it. So I find it interesting to note when these like huge discrepancies come around and which side the critics take. And you saw with Black Adam, like the critics are against this. Like, why? Why do they think it's so much worse than like the audience? And I guess the critic's job isn't to promote the movie, but you're supposed to be giving people an idea of what they're going to be going to see, and clearly you're not fulfilling that aspect of your job here. Let's see. There's something morally deadening and aesthetically depressing about the bottomless toy chest of CGI being reduced to a toolbox of cinematic bureaucracy. Okay, so This guy cannot like Marvel movies, then. If your complaint is that CGI in and of itself is leading to this. Let me see what else. What else have you? The Blue Dahlia, blah, blah, blah. Black Adam, he didn't like. Okay. I guess I should find a more efficient way to scroll through this. I'm just looking for another. I wonder if I can just.
Looks like he reviews really weird movies.
Well, I mean, there's a lot more movies out there just than.
I know, but the ones you scrolled through, I was like, I've never even heard of those.
So let's see if I can look up critics list. Richard Brody. It's not that important, but I would be interested in seeing what like someone that said that would say about like a Marvel movie, because I want to see what Richard Brody, that's what we'll do next week, or for next week's show, I'm going to look up what Richard Brody writes about Wakanda Forever. And then we're going to compare these two things, because I guarantee you he's not going to give a crap about the CGI. He's just going to be like, this is a heroic tale surpassing the scope of cinema as we know it. Straightforward action, it starts and doesn't stop. Baseline ideas. See, I think it seems like the critics, sloppy, senseless, nonstop action. They seem to think that nonstop action is a bad thing, when the Hulk understands like these people are here to see action and excitement.
Mm-hmm.
And go look at the reviews for Phantom Menace, where they complain about 5 minutes of the Senate being in session. I go back and rewatch that movie, and then there's a Simpsons episode. It's like, all they're doing is talking the entire time. I'm like, no, they spent a very, very little amount of time there. Actually, there's way more stuff going out. It's like, how can that be your complaint? And then it's like not a complaint in other cases. Oh, yeah. Amusing humor, very entertaining performance from The Rock. Yeah, I've heard good things for Black Adam, but it'll be interesting to see what the reviews when the embargo lifts tomorrow actually are for Wakanda Forever. Because I have a feeling it's going to be like one of the highest rated movies from critics for sure.
Yeah, I have no doubt. I plan on taking a lot of tissue with me, and I've got Thursday off, so I might just go Thursday and just avoid. Because it's hard for me to avoid social media.
Like, so. Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say crowds. I was like, that's the opening night.
Well.
Yeah, because you're going to have a crowd.
Well, My town is small enough. I seriously doubt there's going to be.
Oh, I always think of it like in relation to where I live, and the movie theaters are always crowded when the newest.
Yeah, I mean, it's Veterans Day, so not a lot of people are going to have that day off. So.
Okay. David said, DCE has failed me too many times. I have little faith in Black Adam. Well, how are you ever going to have your faith rewarded if you don't have it? If you don't give it a shot?
Why aren't you working, David?
Oh, yeah. Debbie says the reason that you're not here on the show is because your wife had a job for you. So be careful. She'll find out you're slacking. You get back to work, David. That was good. That was good, Debbie.
I have my moments.
So we've had up here Geek on the podcast. There's a rumor Nova is coming out with a movie. So like,
was
Nova Corps?
Was that one of the guy that kind of hinted at in Guardians? Was that Nova?
Saw, like the Nova Corps, but there's actually a superhero. Yeah, it looks like it is just rumors right now. Well, I'm seeing a couple different things. Yeah, from October. Exclusive Marvel's Nova to be a special presentation on Disney Plus. And that's pretty much all I have on it right now. So it's going to be a special presentation. So that's like what Werewolf by Midnight was. That's like what the upcoming Guardian
Christmas special.
Christmas special, which we're going to watch that trailer because we haven't watched that on the show yet. Yeah. So I guess let's do that now because what else are we doing? I really planned the show deeply in advance.
Folks,
like,
he's really just putting off trying to talk about Fantastic Four. That's all he's doing.
I mean, we can talk about Fantastic Four, but...
Oh, God, I had to watch that this afternoon, the third one.
Oh, you watched the third one? Or the newest reboot, the latest reboot.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Because now I want to make fun of that movie. So, but first, let's...
oh, Lord.
Actually, let's have our theme song. We never had it, so...
Oh.
I'm going to play it now.
You should just cue the music.
So what was the last movie that came out from Marvel?
Movie?
Yeah.
Multiverse, wasn't it?
Multiverse of Madness. Or Thor Love and Thunder?
Oh, yeah, Thor.
Thor Love and Thunder. Yeah. Multiverse of Madness disappointed me a little bit. It was still pretty good, but I had higher expectations for that one. Thor Love and Thunder was rough.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
And there you go. Everyone's got their own opinions.
Hey, that's what makes this show. Everybody's got different opinions.
The goats.
Only mine matters, but that's okay.
Sure, okay. Watch this. Boom. Nah. I have the power. Anyway, but nobody wants to see just that. So trash.
Wants to see this either. So Thor was trash.
Could have been better.
I thought it was funny.
I was like, what was the last movie that came out? Yeah, it was that. It was Multiverse of Madness. I think Spider-Man No Way Home is my favorite of the last couple that have come out. All the Spider-Men coming together. That was just fantastic. I might go watch that again. And I guess the one that I'm looking forward to the most now would be Quantumania. Wakanda Forever, obviously, we're going to go see it for this. And I would probably want to check it out, even if I wasn't doing this show. But just to see it, like, I wouldn't have to, it's not like I got to go opening day. Like, that's how I used to feel about a lot of movies when they came out. Now, for, like, Marvel stuff, I'm like, I've been let down. And I think Quantumania...
I'm looking forward to Wakanda. I'm pretty hyped about it.
The reviews have been good, but you know how skeptical I am about that. We just talked about it for 15 minutes. But, you know, I definitely want to go make up my own mind about it. There could be it's a potential where the audiences and the reviewers are both going to like something, which would be fantastic, because when that happens, it's usually something actually really good and not just something like trying to get by on some sort of virtue signal or scam, like Last Jedi, for example. Or She-Hulk. No, I'm just kidding. I do like it though when it's universally liked, and then there's not as much. It's good for the fans because then the fans aren't arguing. Like, that was another thing She-Hulk did, was just like rattle up a hornet's nest of fans to fight with each other. Like, that's what trolling does. Is just the whole goal of trolling is to annoy people. So when they made a show, it's like, we wanted to troll Marvel fans. It's like, okay. And it's like, well, just certain ones. It's like, but then we're not talking about She-Hulk again. I'm not going to do it.
Coming back to it.
I'm not going to do it. It's an easy target. It's the latest worst thing they've done, in my opinion. I know not everyone feels like that, but they usually I'm pretty satisfied with things. I mean, like, of course I didn't like Eternals, but that's an unlikable movie. Thor Love and Thunder, while there was some stuff that I enjoyed, I didn't think it was as good as other Thor outings. I liked Ragnarok even better, and that one I thought was almost too comedic, and then it was like, this one's like even more, and I'm like, what about the Godslayer? Let's have the Godslayer slay more than one god. Like,
I wish we could have gotten more Christian Bale on that.
Yeah, like, he was probably my favorite part about the movie, and I think they could have done more with him.
Yeah, I definitely, that's probably my only complaint about the movie, was I was hoping for more Christian Bale, because he looked fantastic on screen. I mean, it's a little different from the comics, but
yeah,
you know, you don't want him looking like Voldemort. So,
well, yeah, he also, I think, mentioned that, like, he didn't want to do overly, like, CGI'd or because he's an actor who, like, will change his body. Like, if you look at him playing Dick Cheney and then look at him in the movie The Machinist, and it's like, holy crap, that's the same guy. It's incredible. And look at the, like, if you look at the movies he did while they were, like, shooting the Batman movies, it's like, how did you put on 100 pounds of muscle and then, like, lose it and then gain it, get the muscle back? It's insane. Spider-Man was good. I love Spider-Man. I thought bringing back the old villains, and people could say, well, that's just nostalgia bait. It's like, I took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. There's nothing wrong with that if it works, you know?
Yeah, I thought it was a great movie. And I mean, nostalgia aside, I thought it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it.
The 3 interacting Spider-Men, just when they were hanging out, that was a lot of fun. Tom Hanks is the best at changing his body for roles. Just look at Castaway. Wilson! I don't know. Christian Bale is
He's
pretty
extreme.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very extreme.
If you've ever seen the Dick Cheney movie, I think it's called Vice. Actually, let me just look up Christian Bale body transformation. Well, it automatically came up with The Machinist, but there's some. Let's see. That's insane. And he got that body in The Machinist by eating, like, his diet for a day consisted of, like, an apple core and a coffee. And it's like, you're gonna die. He looked like he was gonna die.
That's not good for your body.
And that's the one on the left is him and
That looks like me.
Dick Cheney.
I could have played Dick Cheney.
Oh, this is perfect. Okay. The Many Bodies of Christian Bale. Reign of Fire is 2002.
Smash.
184 pounds. 2 years later, he's 121 pounds for The Machinist.
Pass.
1 year later, he's 70 pounds heavier for
Smash.
Batman. Then he's down to 135 in 2006. Then he's back up to 190 in 2008, and then he's back down to 145 for The Fighter. He goes back and forth over and over. It's not like he'll shoot a bunch of movies where he's fat for like 5 or 6 years. He's like, no, I'll be fat this year, and then I'll immediately start training to be super thin, emaciated. It's impressive. Way to go, Batman. Looking up men's bodies, you've changed, face.
He did it for my benefit.
I gotta keep this show progressive. This is MCU. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know me. Good one, Stuart. It's quality. Oh, that's a good point. David first says Daniel Day-Lewis is probably the best. Well, we're not going to spend any more time looking up who actually is the best. You can do that on your own time. Let's check out the Guardians.
I just saw on the calendar that right now on Earth, it's almost Christmas time.
We don't have time for trivialities like Christmas.
But Peter's so sad about Gamora being gone. Maybe if we go to Earth for a really wonderful Christmas gift, it would make him happy. Something special he will never forget.
What about someone special?
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I just said that, Drax.
But your voice is small and mousy. I think maybe he didn't hear you. You're coming with us as a Christmas present.
Kevin Bacon's like, no.
I'm Groot.
Oh, this looks like a fun movie.
Well, it's a special presentation, so I don't know if that is code for something shorter than a typical movie, because Werewolf by Night was what, just like an hour long?
I believe it was like 55, 56 minutes.
Yeah, so this could be something like that. Maybe not feature film length,
No.
which is traditionally the shortest is 90 minutes for a film. But that, I mean, there's no rules, but that's your basic comedy, rom-com, 90 minutes.
Look how big Groot is. Holy crap.
Yeah, then when they showed his close-up on his head, I was like, now does his head look smaller? Like it's not the right size for... Oh, man. And Kevin Bacon, I mean, that's funny. Now it'll be interesting to see, like, they're going to Earth, they're going to Hollywood. Are they going to do some sort of, like, fourth wall break. It's really too bad that Stan Lee wasn't around to be in this one.
Yeah.
That would be a great place for him to show up. Yeah, okay. Now, hold on. It looked like his head is still like
Smaller than his
yeah,
body.
like the big shoulder, and then his maybe I'm just used to adult Groot, and this is new Groot. I don't know. It does look funny though. It looks like it's going to be a entertaining thing. I assume James Gunn
Oh yeah.
is behind this, so yeah. When is that coming out?
November 20th or 20.
Let's see.
November 25th. Oh, so Thanksgiving.
November 25th. Yep. So yeah, that'll get you in the Christmas spirit. Looks like a great family movie. I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. I actually really, really liked it when it came out because the way that they were able to incorporate that music. That's a lot of. I like to listen to a lot of older music like that, and the way that they were able to incorporate it into like a spacefaring, and they did the same thing with the second one. It just allows them to use a soundtrack that you normally wouldn't be able to get away with in this situation, and the fact that they can do that and play those classic songs at certain times, I really found appealing. That really made the movie that much better for me. And then past that, they're usually a lot of fun. Like Rocket's funny, the interactions with like Rocket and Groot and Drax, for instance, taking everything so literally especially when they first meet him. Like, you know what this is, right? You know what this is. It's a symbol for death.
Nothing goes over my head. I would catch it.
Yeah. And so it looks like, and now he's hanging out with Mantis and he constantly insults her, which like he's always like the time when he's talking about falling in love with someone, he's like, no one could love you. You are a hideous thing. Like, dude, Drax. You have no cool. So that should be enjoyable. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Plus it's on Disney Plus, so don't have to go to a theater or anything like that. I know it's a plus for the introvert crowd out there.
Yes.
I went out last night and I'm exhausted just from the whole thing of it. I was like, well, that's it for the month. I don't know if I can.
I went shopping the other day and I just went to one store I love cinnamon discs to eat at work, and they're hard to find. So I went to the Dollar Tree and I just bought like $20 worth of bags of cinnamon disc because they're my favorite. And yeah, just going through that one store and just having to interact with people was more than enough.
It's terrible.
Yes. So
let's see. So the other news we have, several actors have been updated for, what is it? The House of Harkness? What are they calling it?
no, it's Agatha Harkness, Coven of Chaos or something. Something.
Let's see. Show, I guess I'll add into the search bar. Coven of Chaos.
Oh, was I right? Wow.
And so one of the actors that they announced, Aubrey Plaza, is joining,
yes,
which is good news because I find her hilarious. And she's another Parks and Recreation, just like Chris Pratt. So hopefully it would be cool if they could get in a movie together.
They were a couple.
Yeah. And their relationship was hilarious. So there's some other
Vision. White Vision, or I don't know what they're calling him.
So he's getting a show?
Yes.
Vision show. WandaVision. Here we go. Vision series I can't speak. Vision series starring Paul Bettany is in works at Marvel Studios for Disney Plus. Trying to regain his memory and humanity.
Vision Quest. I was right.
While the focus Vision Quest. While the focus is on Vision, there's a possibility for Wanda Maximoff. Well, yeah.
Duh.
If it's about regaining his memories, I would imagine he's got memories of her. That's like his favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
Advertising. The spinoff is unofficially referred to as the White Vision Project.
Eh, boy.
Because they don't White Vision. Oh my gosh. Well, that's the joke we were making when freaking WandaVision came out. We were calling him out Albino Vision.
Albino Vision. That's right. I forgot about that.
Aubrey Plaza. Let's see. I Am Vision. Setting up the potential spinoff. Yeah. Yeah, he just swooped up into the sky and disappeared, and we haven't seen anything of him since.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see, like, where in the timeline, like, has he been gone this whole time, or is this going to take up after WandaVision, or like immediately after WandaVision, or is this going to be like 2 or 3 years down the road?
And if it's about recovering memories? How much of it is going to be flashbacks? You could have entire episodes that happen in the past. I don't know exactly how much of a well there is to dig into there because he was created during Age of Ultron. So it's like, well, I was born yesterday. He doesn't have that much of a past to go into.
Yeah, so is he going to... Like, how is he going to try and recover these memories? Is he...
I thought he already did that too. What with the whole Vision touching his head... Other Vision and Vision 2. Double
Yeah,
Vision.
but he may not understand it all.
Fill my eyes with your double vision. I guess we'll have to find out. But he said, I'm Vision, and flew off. And he's got a computer brain. Should be very technologically advanced. Although, then again, he's the version that I guess like the government made, so... The government's pretty terrible at stuff. He might have a harder time. So, yeah, he's the new Vision, though. I wonder if he's better or worse than like
combo.
Yeah. What's he gonna be like? Let's find out. Paul Bettany really expanded on his role of Jarvis quite well. Like, congratulations to him. Like, that's probably the biggest step up anyone has ever taken in movies. It's like, yeah, I started out as the virtual assistant of this guy. I was just a voiceover, and now I have my own show. And especially it's impressive because he died in Infinity War. And he's still managing to show up and do stuff. That's impressive. That is impressive. Yeah. So Vision Quest, we got that to look forward to as well. I guess we could talk about Fantastic Four for a little while, but I'm looking forward to the new Fantastic Four. I figure it's got to be better than the Fantastic Fours that we've seen. Even though I will say I rewatched all of them, basically the 3. And so let's see.
The first one, I kind of like the first one. I like the casting.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Chris
Evans was great.
Yeah, he was funny.
He's hilarious.
Yes. I enjoyed him in that.
They had like a classic 80s, 90s, like snowboarding down a mountain scene. It was just I was like, how did they fit this in here? This is fantastic. They just threw this into the movie. That's nothing to do with it. Oh, it's great. He's like, I've decided to go snowboarding. Why? Because snowboarding is cool right now. All right. In popular culture, everyone wants to snowboard. Shaun White, you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was great. He was cocky, egotistical in a funny way. And I enjoyed him. And the rest of the cast really isn't that bad. I like Michael Chiklis and Jessica Alba.
How do you say the other guy's name? Eon Gruff.
I've seen him in other things, and I've liked him in other things.
He has a British accent in other things. I think he's actually British. But I thought his and Michael Chiklis's relationship and Michael Chiklis and Johnny Storm's relationship was hilarious. Like when he tickles him with the feather and he's just playing practical jokes on him and like insulting him all the time, and it's like, that thing, what is that thing? Well, that's what he is. The Thing,
that's what we call him.
There was also some really emotionally like significant stuff with the Thing because he transforms. None of the other ones really physically. He's now a rock monster. And so his wife initially rejects him, and then he becomes a hero by starting a huge accident. But then he helps fix the accident. So for some reason, people forgot that he started it, and then he's just a hero for saving some firefighters, which wouldn't have been in danger again if he hadn't. But anyway, he saves them. Everyone's cheering. Yeah, he's a New York hero. All right, yeah. And she walks over and
she still rejects him.
Yeah, she rejects him again. She puts the ring on the ground, and then he goes to try and pick it up, but his fingers have changed too much, and he's just sitting there trying to pick it up, and he can't pick it up. And Reed Richards picks it up and gives it to him. And that was just like, that was a huge emotional scene that I think they really did well. And I definitely think that the first Fantastic Four movie is better than the second one. The second one's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I had a harder time, cool. Even though it's the same cast. I don't know if it was the subject matter or Silver Surfer, and I don't know. I just had a harder time getting through that one because I fell asleep a couple times, and I'd have to rewind and go back to where I last remembered watch what I was watching and watch it again. So, yeah, the first one was definitely better. Then the second one suffers from
sequelitis. It's when the sequel isn't that good. A lot of people say that about like Jurassic Park and then Jurassic Park 2. A lot of people don't like the second one. I enjoy the second one, but
I like them all. So
Vince Vaughn is in the second one. It's hilarious to me. I don't know why, but it's just crazy every time. Every time I'm watching Jurassic Park 2 and then his scene shows up, I'm like, oh yeah, Vince Vaughn. Oh, it's nuts. What are you doing? He's also in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which I actually just rewatched recently because it's on Netflix. And there's one scene when they're Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are interrogating this guy, and the guy's wearing a Fight Club t-shirt. It's got the bar set that says Fight Club, and I'm like, oh my god, that's crazy. I wish Brad Pitt had made a comment. He's like, where'd you get that shirt? Not supposed to talk about that.
We don't talk about Fight Club.
Jessica Alba is only 41. I googled it because I had a crush on her when I was a teen and thought she must be about 50 now. I think she stopped acting. Actually, talking about Fantastic Four, the sequel, was one of the reasons that she like kind of got out of acting because she had a terrible time. And on the first one, actually, so this is something. In the second one, she wore a wig instead of her, and she's, I guess, in both of them, she has these blue contacts because her eyes are brown. But in the second one, I noticed it big time. I was like, whoa. I don't know why. I don't know if it was like the camera or the lighting or something. But in the first one, I didn't really notice. In the second one, I was just like, whoa.
It really popped.
That's not how a human's eyes look. The new Jurassic Park was a letdown. I did not see the newest one. Did you see that, Debbie? What did you think of that? I was about to say, if you just say you like it, then my next question is, what's a movie you don't like?
It had its moments. I didn't like how long it took for everybody to come together. It seemed like it took more than half the movie. Yeah, I liked it, but yeah, I had complaints about it.
I didn't bother because like that was a case where I saw the returning actors and I was like, that's nostalgia bait that I don't think is going to work because the movie has to be able to hold up the bait. Like, because the bait might get people in the door, but then the movie itself actually has to be good. Although really the movie theaters only care about getting the money for the ticket sales. So
right.
But you see,
it had moments with the original cast and the newer cast coming together. There were moments that were funny. Whoops! Almost knocked over my lighting. But yeah, I just thought it just took way too long because everybody was like here, there, and everywhere, all over the world. And like I said, it took like most of the movie for them to all come together and get their shit together. And
see, that's the same exact problems that Eternals has. And it's like, with them, there's no excuse because they should have cell phones. If they have spaceships, why do you not have a cell? Call everyone up and tell them where to meet you. We don't have to go over here and then over here and then over here and then over here. And why aren't we just taking the spaceship? That would be And
I didn't like the
not enough dinosaurs in a Jurassic Park movie. That's a huge criticism right there.
Yeah. The
because now it's more about like genetic engineering, right? It's like, oh,
the big plot for the movie was locusts.
Boo!
And
what is this? The Bible?
Where the hell did this come from, and why?
We genetically engineered these horror machines. Why do you keep doing this? Who thought this would be? Who is investing in us? Movie villains? Just like, who wants these things? I just want a freaking shark with the freaking laser beam in its head.
I mean, I did buy it on my Vudu, so I could have it to complete the series, but I think I've watched it once or twice since it's been out.
I'll never like pay to own a movie like The Last Jedi, for instance. Like,
I have it.
Yeah, people are like, "Well, don't you want to complete your Star Wars?" And I was like, "I never want to see that film again." Unless I'm specifically watching it so I can like list its flaws for a video, but people have already done that. I don't feel the need to torture myself with that nonsense.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it only because I'll get a hankering to watch Force Awakens, which is my favorite one out of the sequel, and then I feel an obligation to watch the others.
No, I watch the prequels of the original trilogy and throw all that other crap out the window. Book of Boba Fett. Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi are my two favorite Star Wars characters. I know a lot of people are like, what about Yoda? And I'm like, this just looks very cool. It's a great background. And Yoda's fine, but Obi-Wan Kenobi is my boy. And Boba Fett is by far, and that was like, even reading stuff in the expanded universe, they're two of my favorite characters, especially Boba Fett. One of the things about Boba Fett is that he's a bounty hunter. That's the thing. He's the most feared bounty hunter ever. And so what does Disney do? We're going to make a show all about Boba Fett. Oh, the bounty hunter? Not anymore. Okay, I can stop you right there. Rewrite the show. You're doing it wrong. And then what does he do? He's like, oh, I'm a crime lord. Okay, what crimes do you commit? I protect the citizens of this town. That is not a crime lord. You're shutting down the crimes. You shut down the spice trade. You're not being a criminal. You're not even being a bad guy anymore. You don't even call your ship Slave One because people might hear the word slave. Oh, like one of the main characters of the freaking whole thing, Darth Vader, was a slave, but we can't say the name of Boba Fett, a bad guy's ship. Or at least morally gray. He worked for the Empire, but whatever. He took Han Solo and Carbonite, but he's actually obeying the laws of the established government. So technically the rebels are more law-breaking than he is. Gah. Hello from the UK. Yeah, so why I'm gonna make a Boba Fett show and he's not gonna be a bounty hunter? Congratulations, you took the thing that everybody loved about this character and stripped it away. You think you're gonna do better than the thing people already loved?
I still think he'll be back.
Well, he should. I mean, I would like to see these characters, but not have them be destroyed. And there's no bigger offender than that than The Last Jedi. But even the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, they added so many things that are completely unnecessary and really just screw with canon. And then they're like, oh, and we'll have him throw giant rocks with the Force. And it's like, if you want to have people using Force powers like that, go into like a different time period. Because when you show Obi-Wan Kenobi throwing giant rocks at Vader, it's like, hey, how come you didn't use these Force powers a million other times when they would have been useful? Like, if you had the ability to pick up giant chunks of rock like that, we see Yoda struggling to do that in episode 2, but now Obi-Wan's like, I'm fighting Vader. I'm not going to kill him even, but, you know, whatever, which is another thing. It's like, you have the chance to finish the job. You're not going to do it. Just walks away. I beat you. All right, see ya. What are you doing, writers? And there's more to it than that. They're using shaky cam for the fight. That's not how you do Star Wars. That's be better than that. What are you gonna do? And that was just depressing. I was like, my two favorite characters, they each get their own show, and then it's just like, oh, what do? We change who they are. We'll just make fundamental changes there. Boba Fett, nah, he's not a bounty hunter anymore. He's got greater aspirations than being the most feared bounty hunter ever. He's gonna settle down on Tatooine. What? Who chooses that? Oh.
Did you watch the Tales of the Jedi?
I haven't watched that yet, but I heard it was really good.
Yeah.
That I'm actually interested in. I'll probably do that this week. Because it's time periods that I like, and it's by Filoni, and
I'm hoping they do a Sith, Tales of the Sith, for their
that would be cool.
One.
Like, I've been rereading all my Star Wars books, and right now I'm on like Han Solo stuff, and like I see these people crowing about how, you know, it's like, oh, Andor proves that you don't have to have a show about Jedi and Sith for this to be popular. I'm like, I'm reading like all this stuff about Han Solo, no Force powers, no Jedi, no nothing. I'm reading all this stuff about like the rise of the Empire era. There are no Jedi left, so there's no, you know, all this time period. There's a great whole number of years where there's tons of stories where there literally aren't any Force users other than like Darth Vader. And there's plenty of stories to be told. And you can tell stories outside of that stuff. You could have done, there's so much wasted potential. That sequel trilogy just crapped all over the potential of the Star Wars universe.
Well, and I guess they're coming up with another Star Wars movie that takes place after the sequels.
Well, who knows what they're going to do, because everything that they kept talking about ended up getting shut down. Well,
no, this was just recently they came out with this news.
Well, the last news I heard from them is that Kathleen Kennedy isn't allowed to release details on things. Yeah, until they're like certain that they're actually going to have, which I found hilarious. But I was like, because she loves doing that red carpet night. She's like, yeah, we're making a Lando movie. We are. And I'm just like, no, you're not. No, you're not, because that movie didn't perform well enough for you to have to pay Donald Glover, because he's the only reason that you would even do that. He's popular. Oh, yeah, we got him. It's like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and then Rogue Squadron went, by the wayside.
Which was good, because when I first heard, I was like, we're going to make a Rogue Squadron movie. I was like, oh, cool, I love Rogue Squadron. And then my next immediate thought was, wait, they're going to do that thing they do where they ruin it. Which is, then I read the plans for what the show was going to be, and it was like, we're going to set it in the sequel trilogy, or after, or like during that time period or after. So it's not any of the things that made Rogue Squadron popular, which are the books and the video games based on the books. It's like, so we're literally just ripping the name off of that, putting it on something else so that we can get those fans. Now, how do you think those fans are going to feel when they go in and don't get the thing that you put on the...
Exactly.
Like, why do you keep doing these things? So now they've shut all that down, you know, so that's, we'll have to see. And I want Star Wars to be good. I don't like not having good stuff. And I like The Mandalorian, a lot of what they did with that. I'm hoping that the next season's going to be good with that too.
How about Andor?
I haven't watched any of Andor yet. I'm probably going to binge it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched any of Lord of the Rings either. That because I'm like, I know they've ruined this. I've read enough of the synopsises to find out that they're just, well, and I don't want to say ruined because they don't even have the real rights to the material. Exactly. So it's more, maybe I'll watch it and I'll just have to convince myself that it's just a alternate universe. But I don't even know why I would watch it then. Because again, it's like, watch Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, this is not that. This is some bull.
I have 2 kids who are big Lord of the Ring fans, and
they read the Silmarillion, and
they thought it was me.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched the movies. I'm not a huge fan. I enjoy the movies, but that's, you know, there's eye candy in there. So that, yeah.
I love the movies. Actually, since we're talking about this, let's see if I can actually. Oh. Here we go.
Strangers from distant lands, friends of old. You've been summoned here to answer the threat of Mordor.
It is an army bred for a single purpose. To destroy the world of men.
So Gandalf Greyheim thinks he has found the lost king of Gondor. He is a fool.
Even the very wise cannot see all ends.
You cannot pass!
Bloody, you fools!
You fell.
I've been sent back until my task is done.
You are the longest, the canniest, and the most reckless man I ever knew.
The answer to no one.
Answer to the King of Gondor.
Guess that concludes negotiations.
That is a trailer that I made. One of the first trailers I made. And that song was Summer of the Rainbow that they used in one of the newer, not the most recent Godzilla movie, but that was the trailer music for like the one before that. And so I heard it and I was like, Summer of the Rainbow, that's such a nice, like, fantastical type thing. And I was like, Lord of the Rings, it's perfect.
Very nice.
Thanks. Well, we're about to be done the show. I figured I would eat up some time. And I was like, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to keep talking about Lord of the...
We're off the rails anyways.
I was like, the only thing I could reasonably do is come back and like, okay, well, let's get back to Fantastic Four, the most recent reboot, and then just wail on that for 20 minutes. But
yeah, we could wail on it for a few minutes, but
he says, fly, you fools. And that's why a lot of people are like, why didn't they take the Eagles? He told them to fly. And I'm like, shut up. They're just being true to the book. And when he says fly, he means like run fast, because that's what common saying, like, especially more back then. But Everyone's like, "Oh, he said to take the Eagles." I'm like, no, he didn't. He did not, because that's not how that works. He does say, "Fly, you fools! Fly, you fools!" So yeah, Fantastic Four, the newest reboot, was garbage. Debbie, you watched it again, right?
Today, this afternoon.
Okay, so we at least got to talk about it for a minute because you went through the trouble of watching it. But it's like
I sacrificed myself.
Yeah, I think I have that picture. Okay, so we're talking about this Fantastic Four. What a slog of a movie. The first time you see anyone with any superpowers whatsoever is literally halfway through the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through like a 2-hour movie that's ostensibly about superheroes. Now, the first Fantastic, the ones before this, when they first get their powers, because that's what this one tries to do again, show them re-getting their powers, they get their powers within the first like 20 minutes. Like, that's the first big thing that happens. In this, it's like, we spent a half an hour. We're supposed to be fascinated by who these characters are. We get who they are. They're the Fantastic Four. Show them as the Fantastic Four. And then they never even do until like the very end, because they're like fighting against each other, and Reed Richards escapes for some, and it's just
I didn't mind Miles.
Miles Teller.
Yeah, I didn't mind
Reed Richards.
Yeah, I didn't mind him. Everybody else, and I was really disappointed because I like Michael B. Jordan. I've liked him in just about anything he's done, and I didn't like the guy who played Victor.
Yeah,
awful casting. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like how they did Doom.
That was just terrible. The whole thing was just a mess. And then they set it up at the very end. They're like, oh, "This is your new facility," like setting up for more movies. And it's like, nobody wants to see any more of this.
We ain't got time for that.
No one wants to fund that. Michael B. Jordan, again, good actor, but the writing, it didn't give him much to go with. And if you compare him in this movie to like Chris Evans in the other one, Chris Evans is much more entertaining, much more joking, much more. This one also tries to be way darker. It tries to be so dark. And it's like, do you know what? Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what this source material is? The Fantastic Four. Why? And they're trying to show it like a horror show when they first get their powers. And it's like, I get the direction you're trying to go, but even if that's the case, this should have happened 30 minutes ago, at least. It's halfway through the freaking movie. And that's just them getting it. Then they don't even learn how to use their powers. They're just like cut. And it's like, they've been training. They know how to use their powers now. It's like, well, at least we didn't slog our way through that, but whatever. What it's so interesting what you've decided to show us than what we just assume happens. Like, who made the choices of the pacing in this film?
No training montage or
No, they just literally show them on a screen. It's like she knows how to do this now. He knows how to do that now. And then let's go back. And the whole thing was different. It was like they go to a different dimension instead of going to outer space and getting hit. They're like, look, we changed it up. And it's like, not enough to call it original. And also, why? It's like, well, we didn't just want to have the same thing happen again. It's like, at least something, make something happen.
Yeah, that just a disappointing movie.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
In so many ways. So yeah, that's Fantastic Four. And for those reasons, that's why I'm looking forward to the new one, because I think it's got a lot of potential. Fantastic Four is a great property. There's a lot of potential there. And the movies that have come before it haven't been like mind-blowing, so got a real shot here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who they cast.
It'll be really interesting to see. Now, Marvel, I feel is terrible at keeping secrets at this point, because they just show stuff before the movies even come out. But it would be great to see something of the Fantastic Four in Wakanda Forever, because if you're a comic book fan, Black Panther was actually introduced in a comic of the Fantastic Four. So it would be great to introduce in the MCU Fantastic Four in a Wakanda type thing. But I don't have high hopes for that. I'm just that would be cool, but I don't expect it to happen. Again, because I feel like I would have heard something by now.
You would think.
You would think, because even it's just
we might hear something here this week when the ban's lifted.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, we'll have to see. Wakanda Forever coming out this week. We'll be talking about it next week. That is it for us tonight. Debbie, is there a Thursday show?
Yes.
This Thursday, Cantina Happy Hour this Thursday. You talking about Andor still? Is it?
Andor, yes.
How many more episodes of that are there?
Huh?
I said, how many more episodes are there?
I think there's 2 more.
And they're only having 2 seasons, right?
Yes. Because next season which I believe they've I'm trying to remember what I heard or what I seen on social media. Either they've already started filming or they'll start filming later.
Oh yeah, they're starting very soon.
But they're going to be doing that season in blocks. So like there's 12 episodes, so like so many episodes will be, because this is like year 1 as far as Andor. And then, because this is set 5 years beforehand. And so many episodes would be year 2, and then so many episodes year 3. I mean, it's going to lead right up to Rogue One, from what I hear from the director. So that'll be interesting.
All right. When does Mandalorian come out? That's got to be soon. Well, you can talk about that on Thursday.
February, I believe.
February? Okay, that's not too far away.
Shut up and take my money.
That one,
not
definitely looking forward to. Okay. Well, that's it for us tonight on MCU Mondays. Thank you for joining us as we talked about all different kinds of stuff. Like I said, next week we'll be back with Wakanda Forever. So you can look forward to hopefully good news. I want it to be good, and I'm hoping for the best, but you know me. Never know.
I'll probably like it because
well, that's good. It's good. You like things, I dislike things. It's like the theater with the happy, sad mask. It's comedy and tragedy. Those are the essential arts. You either laugh or you cry. I love to cry. You're a laugher.
Right. It depends. Like I said, I'm prepared to take lots of tissues with me to Wakanda. So
yeah, but you can. I mean, I meant like, okay, in a broader sense, but you can cry at a movie and still have enjoyed the movie. It's a different. Okay. Anyway, that's it for us. We'll see you next time.
Shit! Language. Wait a second. No one else is going to deal with the fact that Cap just said language?
Just slipped out.
Find the scepter.
And for gosh sake, watch your language.
That's not going away anytime soon.
You bet your ass.
Steve, he said a bad language word.
Did you tell everyone about
The
that?
handle's imprinted.
Out with the platinum bastard.
Steve doesn't like that kind of talk.
You know what, Romanov?